In this video, I'm going to be reacting to Gamespot's Fire Emblem Engage. Goes back to its roots, goes back to the series Roots video. If you want to just watch this video, this trailer, without my commentary, the link will be in the description. But if you're here for commentary, hello. All right, so let's get started.
There are two types of Fire Emblem players, those who gravitate towards the social mechanics and those who prefer the tactical turn-based combat. After a guided demo,
I don't know that that's necessarily true, that there's two types of Fire Emblem players. I mean, maybe now, but I feel like throughout most of Fire Emblem's development, people came here for the tactical gameplay and then like the social stuff. Like the supports were kind of always in the game, but the game started off as more of, like a war simulator to some degree where you move like chess pieces on the board, and it just kind of like developed this over time. But maybe as of late, I guess I can kind of agree with that.
Fire Emblem Engage seems like it may cater more towards the latter. While the social sim aspects are still intact, there seems to be far fewer extraneous activities in the hub area compared to Three Houses.
All right, this is good. Now this is them having played the game, so hearing that, that's great. I'm glad that that's the case.
A lot of your time at the hub is spent outfitting your party members, unlocking new combat skills, and preparing for the next battle. In this way, Fire Emblem Engage feels like a more focused take on the long-running tactical JRPG series. Fire Emblem Engage follows a similar structure to other modern Fire Emblem games. Your time is split between the tactical tile-based combat and a hub area where you can interact with other characters. On the battlefield, Fire Emblem Engage brings back the traditional weapon triangle that this series is known for.
So it seems like they are pushing away from the Three Houses aspect of all this management and monastery stuff, and there's still some of it, but it's not going to be as annoying. I think one of the major complaints from most people who played Three Houses that didn't like the monastery was like how many things were forced. Like you had seminar, you had rest, you had battle, and then you had explore. And explore took at least 10, maybe 20 minutes to talk to everyone, give gifts, max out motivation, collect items, do little mini fetch quests, do all the little, like, spend all your attributes, your professor points or whatever, and then also do like fishing and all this other stuff. So it definitely required a lot of time investment to get the most out of Explore, and it was kind of annoying. So like if there's just one of those per mission, that wouldn't be so bad. So if that's the case with Engage, that's great.
Swords beat axes, axes beat spears, and spears beat swords.
And they brought the weapon triangle back, which is nice.
Taking advantage of the weapon triangle inflicts break, which prevents the defending unit from countering in a skirmish. Weapons outside of the triangle, such as bows, daggers, and spell tomes, are weak to physical attacks. As much as I enjoyed Three Houses, I played nearly 200 hours of it, I did miss the traditional weapon triangle. In past games, it gave specific weapons distinct strengths and weaknesses that forced me to carefully consider my party. The reintroduction of this classic mechanic could lead to a more balanced experience, especially for those who might have felt Three Houses was a bit too easy. At the center of Engage's combat is the Engage mechanic.
I wouldn't say that Three Houses was too easy. I mean, on maddening mode, I would say a lot of people had a hard time on maddening mode, for sure. And like even after you learn it, it's not like you're learning Fire Emblem. You're basically learning how to play Three Houses.
As you progress through the story, you unlock Emblem Rings that can be equipped on any party member. Each Emblem Ring houses the spirit of a character from a previous Fire Emblem game, and when given to a party member, they combine for improved stats and some powerful abilities. You can mix Emblem Rings with any character in your party for varying effects and strategies. Some combinations can lead to incredibly mobile party members, while others...
So one thing I want to check out really quick. Okay. So usually in previous Fire Emblem games, when you equip an item, it takes an inventory slot. It looks like in this game it doesn't. So that's important. I just wanted to confirm that.
effects and strategies. Some combinations can lead to incredibly mobile party members, while others could significantly buff a character's strength stat. Some combinations may work better than others, but every party member can forge bonds with every classic character housed in an Emblem Ring. Like bonds formed between units, bonds between party members and Emblem Rings increase the effectiveness of that pair. Every mainline Fire Emblem game is represented via Emblem Rings.
So it's kind of like supports in a way, where you have like a level on your ring, and each character can have, that effect increased.
Returning Fire Emblem characters I saw in the demo included Ike, Lucina, Roy, Marth, Lynn, Sigurd, and Celica. Additionally, there are items called Bond Rings that can be equipped in place of Emblem Rings. These rings feature characters from previous games and grant passive buffs. Bond Rings can be accumulated through a gacha-style minigame. After you've equipped your party, you can activate the engage mechanic by pressing the plus button before kicking off a skirmish. While active, the classic Fire Emblem character embedded in the equipped Emblem Ring will accompany that unit. After 3 turns are up, you will need to refill your engage meter through combat. I didn't have enough time to experiment with different...
Okay, so that's interesting. So it's almost like an alt. Like if you play like Overwatch or any games that have alts, I think like League and all those games like Dota have alts and stuff. You kind of like build it up in combats, and I don't know if you can store them in between maps. I think that's kind of what he was saying. But you build it up in combat and then you unleash it. And if you can store it in between maps, one thing you could do, I could see this being exploited. So one of the things that I did in Three Houses often, especially doing like no like seminar or rest only runs where all you do is use seminar and rest, you don't do monastery or auxiliary battles, paralogs, whatever, was take an enemy that heals itself or that's on a healing tile and just like farm it for class mastery XP for XP, and for just like general mastery experience for like weapons and battalions and so on. So if I just attack an enemy with like a really weak weapon that's on a healing tile, I'm wondering if I can build up these rings and if that's going to be like a huge gimmick. Now I'll test things like this and I'll probably find a bunch of stupid things like this, but that's what I'm thinking immediately. It's like, okay, so if you build up your ult through combat, can I just like create a situation where I'm just unequipping my weapons and just or equipping a bow and just letting a dude smack me for low damage, heal it, smack me, heal it, smack me, heal it, build up an emblem ring for my next chapter? Can I do that? Because if that's the case, that could easily be exploited.
Emblem Rings, but it seems like this could lead to some really interesting combinations. There are also a handful of tweaks to the moment-to-moment combat as well. Most notably, now you have direct control over a character's movement. Rather than selecting a unit and plotting a path for them, you can freely move around the battle.
You could already do this in Three Houses. There's a setting. You can actually just zoom all the way in. You can actually already do this.
Before committing to a tile and attacking. It's not a huge change, but it does give you a little more flexibility and precision to your movements. Fire Emblem Engage also does away with weapon durability. Once you find or purchase a weapon, it's yours to keep.
Yeah, so everyone figured this out, but now they're just confirming it. There's no durability.
This change means we'll be spending less time managing a unit's inventory and more time battling enemies and chatting up comrades.
This is fine to some degree. Removing durability is fine to some degree. I think in like some of the older games where there was very minimal, if any, outside management and like talking to people and all this crap, like when there wasn't like a hub and all you would do before battle is just like load dudes' weapons up and then just go out and fight. I think it was fine then, but now that they keep adding all these systems, they're kind of removing it in favor of other things. I actually like weapon durability. Managing it, it's only annoying when you can repair weapons and you can upgrade weapons and there's all these other extra tasks you have to do. It's not annoying to manage weapons when, let's say you get like a steel sword or whatever, and then it just breaks and then it's deleted, right? Now they have this repair system, so it becomes a broken weapon. You can repair it. You have to remove that broken weapon if you want to replace it without repairing it. The old system of just like this weapon has X amount of uses and then it just instantly gets destroyed. It declutters your inventory once it's destroyed, and then you just throw in like you break a silver sword, you throw a new silver sword on a dude. Like it's really that simple. I don't think it needs to be removed, and I'm hoping that this game takes economy seriously, where you can't just like buy a ton of crazy stuff easily. But we'll see. So far, it looks like it might be the case that you buy one silver axe once, and as long as you have like one unit who needs a silver axe, you just hand it to them, and it has infinite durability. So it could be pretty crazy.
Now, I am curious to see how the game's economy is balanced now that you don't need to keep buying weapons as they break on the battlefield. Most of your time outside of the battlefield is spent at the Somniel, your home base. Here you can interact with your party members and heroes from past Fire Emblem games, manage an animal pen complete with adorable pups, partake in some weight training for temporary stat buffs, cook meals to build relationships with other characters, and upgrade your emblem rings. That said, there is a lot to dig into when it comes to emblem rings. Each emblem ring has an upgrade path for each character in your crew. These upgrade paths can give a character permanent stat boosts and new skills that are unique.
Oh, that's interesting. So it seems like replay value will be high then, because like if you only have so many missions you can do, and each unit can get a different upgrade path with different unlocks and different passives and different stat like boosts from each emblem ring, then it seems that replay value would be high because you could try different builds out, you could try out different emblem rings on different units and see what kind of results you get. So that's kind of good.
Emblem ring. There is a dizzying amount of combinations here that should give players plenty of flexibility. I only had a few minutes to look this over, but I could have easily spent an hour digging into all the upgrade paths and considering my options. Aside from the emblem rings, there is a large cast of characters you can take into battle, level up, and customize. I didn't play nearly enough of the game to form any solid opinions on the characters I did see, but many of the traditional JRPG anime archetypes seem to be here. There's a heroic strongman with a shield and a feisty petite mage, just to name a few. Hopefully, like other Fire Emblem games, these characters develop beyond their trappings, but that remains to be seen. What is immediately clear is that Fire Emblem Engage looks great. The Nintendo Switch has had a rough year when it comes to performance and visuals, but Fire Emblem Engage pops right off the screen thanks to its vibrant color palette and lively character animations. The cel-shaded art style from Three Houses is back, and it feels as though it's been cleaned up quite a bit here. Now, the slant away from social sim mechanics from Three Houses might disappoint some.
It does look much better. So overall, this looks good. The gacha system, where you get different stat buff rings. I mean, as long as it's just like RNG with random stat boost rings, that's fine. And then getting the emblem rings is like controllable. That's whatever. Got build increase. Now, I don't know what build does. I haven't played a Fire Emblem game with build. I've played Fire Emblem games with like Constitution or whatever, or the stat where you can like pick dudes up, the rescue system. Is that what build is? I haven't played a Fire Emblem game with this in a while. If this is what it is, like if you have a higher whatever, you can pick a dude up, type of thing. But we can see Lance Flyer. That's interesting. Lance Flyer. So it's not even a Pegasus Knight. It's just like. Does that mean there's like a sword flyer, an axe flyer? Because like obviously an axe flyer would be like a wyvern, right? So I'm curious to see if there's like, you know, bow flyer, whatever. But you have HP, strength, magic, dex, speed, def, res, luck. So standard stats and then build. So that's interesting. The movement thing, that's already in Three Houses. That's funny. What else do we got? Yeah, it's funny that he's like, I'm curious to see the economy. The thing is, I don't think the economy has been balanced. Since I think like Three Houses economy is completely messed up. Like if you do like your average maddening run where you just play the game normally, the standard way to play maddening is generally explore, battle. That's like the common wisdom, so that you get a mixture of Professor XP, you can train people, like you can get them motivated, you can get quests, for unlocking things in the monastery, like buying smithing stones and buying, you know, crafting stones and stuff like that. And usually you do the battles for XP to get class masteries and, more importantly, for paralogs and the paralog rewards. And if you do all the paralogs in a given run, the game just hands you like crazy battalions, crazy artifacts. Like there's so many insane things you get from doing paralogs. And even just doing auxiliary battles, like if you do 2 auxiliary battles a month, you generally will make like 16 to 20k on top of, you know, you getting 5K, like 3 to 5K when the month starts. You get 500 gold to 1K for group tasks per week. So that can be an extra, 1.5 to 3K. So just from doing like a handful of auxiliaries and group tasks and like the monthly funds you get in three houses, you get like 30K a month plus items. Like it's pretty crazy. And then magic is free. So like the economy in three houses is not balanced at all. And I've done limited runs where I didn't do any monastery or auxiliary battles, no online, no DLC, and then I like disallowed doing anything in the actual monastery itself. And even then, you still get so much umbral steel that you can sell it, and you'll still be in excess in cash. I learned that late into a playthrough that's now soft locked, but now that I know that, I can go back and like do things differently. But like the way the economy works in three houses is absolutely insane. There's too much money. There's too many items. The other thing too is like you can also, if you min-maxed your economy, like if you just stole everything you possibly could, got every single chest, killed every enemy that has green drops, min-maxed like just like grinding for gold, like you'd be in excess of like 500K by the end of a campaign easily. You would have so much money you wouldn't know what to do with it. And then if you also allowed like DLC and online, like DLC gives you free resources and money, and you can convert renown into money. And then online gets you free XP and free items randomly. So it's pretty crazy how many systems there are. And then if you have amiibos, that gets you free items. So like there's so many systems to just like load you with free items that the economy definitely wasn't even close to being balanced in three houses. So much so that it's like a joke. Like you could there's so many ways to get around like any economic pressure at all. It's very you could tell they don't care about the economy. Like especially now that durability is being removed again. It's been like people let me know it's been tried before. That's fine. You could balance it around there being no durability. Like this is possible, but you would have to make it so that there's item scarcity, that there's gold scarcity, that you have to carefully choose which items you buy, so that even though things don't break, you would still have to carefully consider, okay, I have 3K and this sword is 2K and this axe is 2K, so I can only buy one. See, that's what creates an interesting thing when you have limited resources and you have to make decisions, and then you have to carefully consider like, okay, so this sword, like, is this sword unit better than this axe unit? Why or why not? Well, this axe unit can fly. Canto and flying is better than the sword unit, so I probably should invest in the flyer. Or maybe the sword unit's like insane. Maybe the sword unit has like, I don't know, insane crit rate, or it's like a dodge tank or whatever. So, this is my dodge tank. I give him the silver sword, whatever. There could be interesting decisions to be made if the economy's balanced, but given the previous entry, I don't know that that's going to be a thing. We'll find out. I'm hoping it is. I'm also hoping the game doesn't just shower you with resources. But I can always do limited runs for fun and just like, not do paralogs and stuff like that. So that's it for this one. They definitely have shown a lot here. It kind of answers a lot of questions, like confirms certain things, durability being removed, that there is a gacha system for these like minor rings. The major rings can be equipped to anyone, and then they gain special abilities and passives even after you remove the ring. So you can do a little bit of min-maxing. Based on that fact that he mentioned that, there's going to be a lot of min-maxing in this game through these rings. And if these rings gain XP in combat, this is basically Class Mastery System 2.0. And there probably is also a Class Mastery System. So if there's a Class Mastery System plus this engage emblem like tiered progression and leveling up, then people are going to min-max that. And I'll make tutorials on it and stuff, but it's definitely going to be a thing where you're going to probably want to find grinds to just like, equip a bow and just let a weak enemy just smack you over and over and over again. If you get XP just for being in combat for these masteries, because that was like a really viable strategy in three houses. Like put your own unit on a healing tile, unequip its weapons, let two weak enemies just smack it over and over and over again and just heal it. And every single turn it gets 2 class masteries, and you have a 99 turn limit, and you just rapidly get the masteries. And especially when you get the class XP +1, you basically could get like 4 to 6, sometimes 8 mastery a turn if the enemies are weak enough. One of the big strategies in Three Houses that I would use on a normal maddening run is I would save low level quests so that the enemies can't even hurt you, and then just push a unit forward that I want to rapidly change train masteries in, and I would have like 8 to 10 things, or not eight, like 4 to 5 things attacking me, like an archer and like 4 enemy melee, and every single turn I'm getting 8 to 10 class mastery, which is insane. And then you just heal it if it, like something has poison strike, for example. But if they have a mage, those don't have poison strike, so you can just let the enemy mage hit you for like almost no damage, heal as needed, put on a healing tile if you want. So there's a lot of ways to rapidly farm these things. And this game, I'm sure Engage will have things like this, and it'll be up to the player if you want to use them or not. Like people that do LTC obviously won't be able to do that. I don't care about LTC at all. Um, like it's almost like playing blitz chess, which is fine, but most of it relies on usually it relies on exploits to win. Like you basically understand the maps and you like warp to a boss, kill it, or you know use some broken gimmick to quickly clear up the map. And I mean, grinding for XP is clearly a gimmick too. So not to say that that isn't, but I mean, what I would like from a Fire Emblem game, maybe I'll make that in a separate video. But that's it for now. Thanks for checking this out. Definitely check out this hands-on trailer if you want to see it, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Drop a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.